Men, what is something that you didn't know about women before you were in a relationship? How much they she. To be fair, I started growing my hair out 2 years ago and I now cannot tell instantly whose hair is up my ass or wrapped around my member. My boyfriend and I both have long hair and we are forever pulling clumps of matted hair out of our butt cracks. It's ridiculous. I shared a flat with my best friend and his girlfriend. Her fucking hair was forever clogging up the drains in the bathroom. She would leave it in the bath plug hole for days, then scrape it out, slap it to the side, leave it to go moldy and repeat. It was clogging up the Hoover and always getting into the food I cooked, no matter how much I cleaned. She moved out every time she comes over now. I still end up finding her hairs in the most annoying places. It drives me mad. I've been living with my Biff for a year now and he's always finding my long strands of hair in his ass or wrapped around his balls. How's that even happen, I wonder? My guess is if you two do laundry together, might be some hair from your clothes getting into his underwear, or if you wash clothes separately, your hair could be sticking to the inside of the dryer, which then gets into his underwear the next time it's used. This person eats ass. Interesting. I'm a dude with long hair, grew up in a household with my mom and 2 sisters. While there was the occasional bit of hair here and there, it was never really a thing. Honestly, as long as you brush your hair like once a week, hair from people isn't really noticeable. When I got cats though, hair is my nightmare. They love snuggling up on my clothes, and the thing about cat hair is the only way to get it of is to brush it with a lint brush and then go over it with a lint roller. You can put the clothes through a wash and it does not make the slightest difference. A 2-hour cycle and the hair is completely untouched. I have 8 cats, 3 women living here. I've gone through 4 vacuums. We've lost the battle against the hair. It's like a weird... I remember being shocked that my first girlfriend also enjoyed me touching her boobs. I always found it interesting that guys like touching them. It's like, what did I get out of that? Yeah, no. They are like anti-stress balls for me. I think it has a lot to do with the forbiddenness of touching them otherwise. There is gratification in being able to do something you were unable to previously. Oh, that's an interesting take. But you'd think eventually that thrill would fade, like eventually taboo becomes mundane. It never fades. We constantly want to touch them. Maybe for some it does. As I've gotten older, it's become more of an expression of my appreciation of her body as a whole, as someone who enjoys intimacy as much as sex. The taboo part eventually goes away with familiarity, but it is still very much an intimate, private thing. For me, since I appreciate her and her body wholly, I'm never dissatisfied with or bored of her breasts because I'm never bored of her. That's a very good way to say it. I've been married 30 years and will pass my wife in the kitchen or hall and gently caress or cup her boobs and kiss her. It's our way of keeping the intimacy alive. She enjoys it. Evidently, you're not supposed to put bras in the dryer. They turn into shrinky dinks, and bras are expensive to replace. Anything stretchy don't put in the dryer. I have a drying rack for all my bras, panties, leggings, and exercise wear. Makes all these items last longer. They aren't really supposed to be machine washed either. Life expectancy of bras goes way up if you hand wash them, the frail bastards. Whoops! I'm a woman and totally ignore that. The amount of hair bands that will appear out of now hair, they multiply all over the place. I know, right? Warrant Poison and Motley Crue just appeared out of nowhere. But somehow I'm always still looking for one in a frenzy. That they often feel obligated to do stuff they don't want to do by their family, friends, and just random people, and they feel really guilty if they don't do those things. That they feel a lot of pressure to look and act certain ways. Getting dressed can be really overwhelming sometimes. That they are often so critical of themselves that you'd be shocked to hear their inner voice. That the shower can never be hot enough. That they need way more sleep than us. That they care a lot about detail and want to share that detail with you when they debrief the day. That they have an insatiable appetite for being held, cuddled, and snuggled. That giving them regular orgasms is great for their mood and the relationship in general. That a fridge full of food will be somehow calming to them despite the grocery bill being soul-crushing to you. That their feet are always various levels of cold ranging from corpse dug up from snowdrift cold to deep sea. Tuna on ice cold. That the facts of a situation will be interpreted in different ways depending on their feelings at the time. That they strangely stay friends with other women who are low-key mean to them. That they remember every fucked up thing you've ever done or said. That taking the pill can really mess with them. That it isn't enough just to do things for them because they ask you to. You need to want to do it without them having to ask. That's how they know you care. Who told him who snitched? Men know these things. I would even argue that some men want these same things from their spouse. Especially the last point. My super easygoing wife said true to most of the items on this list when I read it to her. She also gave me a 100s rating on the last item, which surprised me but was good to hear. She said that guy has it all figured out. How long it takes to put on makeup, shower, and get ready to do anything. She should shower before she puts on makeup. That will save a lot of time. You're a genius. I'll make sure to tell my girlfriend about this. Be careful. Other comments in this post lead me to believe she doesn't want your solutions, only your support. I'm married to a woman and have 2 daughters. So much toilet paper. My boyfriend was shook when my daughter and I moved in. He didn't realize women use toilet paper every time they go to the bathroom. The smell of period blood, and it can fall out in clot. And the horrifying feeling when your vagina expels that blood clot or if it gets trapped in pubes. I learned how much I like being a man. I mean, having a period sounds terrible. Childbirth is something I'm glad I'll never experience. Childbirth isn't as bad as a period. A once or twice in a lifetime occurrence, or in my case, isn't as bad as 400 stomach-churning emotional roller coaster nightmares. You do know childbirth physically and literally rips a woman apart, right? Common effects are prolapsed anus, ruptured or inside-out uterus. Has to be stuffed back up, otherwise the organ sometimes comes out with the baby. Depression, loss of calcium and bonus in teeth, needing of C-sections, which is a whole bundle of complications in and of itself. Tears that go from vagina to anus. Usually, they literally make a cut into your flesh to help alleviate any tearing. And I could go on and on, it's horrifying. I only learned all of this from my friend who is a nurse and just had a baby. Otherwise, they don't teach you any of this horrific shit in school. That most problems can be solved by providing food, sleep, orgasms, or shiny things. And cuddles. As a woman, I second this. Sometimes when they're complaining about something, they don't want solutions. They just want to vent rant to a listening ear. This is good advice to any relationship, I think. This is one of the most important lessons I learned early on in my relationship with my current fiancé. I'll add something I don't see that I didn't understand. Childhood trauma. I understand that this can happen to men, but the number of women I've had serious relationships with who ended up struggling with severe trauma when they were younger has been eye-opening. It dictates parts of the relationship you don't even realize. Certain things you do can set off triggers that you may have never been aware of. You can end up doing damage to someone who you deeply care about by accident. It could be a simple touch when trying to initiate, and without appropriate definitions or communication, it can be really devastating. Then, you begin to piece things together. Oh, now I get why she used sex to get my attention. Oh, now I understand why this person has no interest in sex. It's just something that's really personal and difficult. Something people don't realize they've dealt with. And then they need to battle through it and try to heal themselves. It's just something I didn't ever deal with as a guy, and I'm both selfishly thankful I'm a man and heartbroken these things happen. More stories on the channel. RedStore.